into some beef with Yellow Beezy and Trap Boy. So you know how I do, man, just follow the story. So one day I'm chilling, right? I get a text earlier from Farrago telling me to come down. You know what I mean? Come to see him or whatever he need to talk to me about something. So I show up to his spot, you know what I mean? His club, you know what I mean, during the day, you know what I mean? So it's closed during the day, but you know, Farrago be in the back conducting business, so I get there. You know, of course, you know, he got, you know, security there, whatever. I walk to, go in the back to where Farrago office is, and he like, yo, have a seat. So, you know, I have a seat, you know, Farrago sitting behind the desk, he like, yo, man. He said you got a, you know, little young nigga, you know what I mean, that, you know, he cool with, named Dirty Red from Oak Cliff. So he said that, he wanted to send me down to Oak Cliff and work with Dirty Red and, you know, kind of hustle out there and get money. So, you know, he was like Keys and Polk area, I think that's what he said. He said Keys and Polk, some shit like that. So I'm like, Oak Cliff, I'm like, ain't that the motherfucking part of Texas that everybody be talking about on YouTube, talking about the most dangerous hoods and all that shit? Farrago like, yeah. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, nigga. I'm like, if we go down there, nigga, we gotta... I was like, basically, if I go down there, cause you're basically sending me down there. If I go down there, man, I gotta go down there with a team, my nigga. You know what I mean? So he was like, yeah. So he was like, gather up, you know, who you need to get. You know what I mean? Cause I told him, I was like, yeah, I've old tight with Platinum and Flame, but I'm like, I think I'm gonna need some out-of-town niggas for this. So I was like, I'm gonna call back home to New York and get some niggas up here. So he was like, yeah. He was like, do what you gotta do, but he was like, you know, he was like Dirty Red, basically. Gonna show me the ins and outs of Old Cliff. And we need to get money out there. I'm like, alright, cool. So I called back to New York to my little nigga Ching, you know what I mean? Ching was my homeboy. Ching was about maybe 22 years old at the time. Wild nigga, you know what I mean? From West Side Merritt, you know what I mean? From Queens, you know. He used to run under Maserati Fox, recipes to Maserati Fox. Maserati Fox was a wild nigga. And, you know, he basically groomed my nigga Ching, you know. And the reason we call him Ching was he was half black, half, you know, Asian, you know what I mean? His mother was Asian, father was black. He looked just like Chingy, the rapper. The only difference is he was light-skinned with waves, you know what I mean? But he looked just like Chingy, the rapper and shit. Wild nigga, ain't give a fuck about nothing. Bust his gun, fight, do whatever. So I basically called up my nigga Ching. I'm like, yo, what's good? You know, Ching like, what's good? Tell him he was father. I'm like, nothing out here in Dallas getting money, so I basically let him know, yo, I need a team of you niggas to come out here, man. We trying to take over a certain part of Texas. We gonna get a lot of money, da-da-la-da-la. So he like, cool. He said he'd be out there 2 days, you know, I sent him money for the plane tickets, all that. So, about 2-3 days later, my nigga Ching flies down from New York to Dallas, you know what I mean? Ching comes down, he got like 7 people with him. So it's like 8 of them all together. Cool. So slowly but surely, you know, the nigga Dirty Red, who's from Oak Cliff, Dirty Red is showing us around and shit. We take over a particular house. We start, you know, getting money. Now some people embraced us, some people didn't, you know what I mean? A lot of the girls did definitely embraced us, you know what I mean? You know, they took a liking to us, you know, 'cause we different, you know, we New York niggas, you know what I mean? You know, they never seen nothing like that before, you know what I mean? New York niggas out in Oak Cliff getting money and shit. So we fucking a lot of these bitches and shit getting money, so certain motherfuckers wasn't with that, but some niggas was, 'cause before we came there, niggas was starving, 'cause before us, Trap Boy, you know what I mean, Yellow was funding the hood, but once they was under investigation, 'cause of the Mo 3 shit, they kind of fell back from all the illegal activities and shit, so a lot of them niggas was starving, you know, when we came out there. So we start hitting niggas off, breaking niggas off. But I remember, Farrago was like, yo, we ain't gonna go in there. Just strong-arming niggas, we gonna go in there. We gonna go in there and show love, you know what I mean? We gonna give turkeys out on Thanksgiving, toys out on Christmas, you know what I mean? Show love to the people, get the people on your side, you know? And that's what we did, you know what I mean? So one day, you know, the nigga Yellow Beasley was having a little block party in the area, you know what I mean? So me, my nigga Ching, all my New York niggas, we decided to go to the block party, show love. So soon as we get there, certain people showing us love because they know we there. Certain people, you know, got the ice grill on, mad because we've been hustling in the area and shit. It's all good, so we giving money out to people, you know what I mean? People showing love. We see Yellow Beasley out there. At this time, Trap Boy Freddy, you know, was already, you know, locked up, you know what I mean? Because, you know, they raided his house, found a gun and a tiger cub, you know what I mean, in his house. So Trap Boy was locked up, but Yellow Beasley's out there. So I'm like, yo, I'ma holler at Yellow, you know what I mean, see what's good. Cause, you know, Farrago, like, you know, just get the people on your side. So who better than to have, you know, than Yellow Beasley on your side, right? So Ching, you know, is with me. Two of my New York niggas with me. So I go to Yellow Beasley, I'm like, yo, what up, man? I'm like, what's good? You know, I'm Tony, da-da-da-da-da. So he must have knew, you know, off whip who I was, you know what I mean, from the way I talked, you know, and the way I was dressed, you know what I mean? You know, Yankee fitted cap on, you know what I mean? We stand out like a sore thumb, you know, me and my niggas. So Yellow Beasley like, yo, he was like, yo, hold that door, hold that door. So, you know, he went to go talk to somebody else, so I'm like, alright. So I'm like, cool, we going and we give him a minute, so then we go back, we mingle it, networking, you know, through the block party and shit. So I see Yellow Beasley again. I go up to him like, yo, so I'm trying, you know, talk and network with him. He listening, and he like, yo, hold that door, hold that door. So he go, have a nod, like, alright. So I see Yellow Beasley about to leave, you know what I mean? Cause, you know, he got his car keys in his hand, he with his niggas. And I could see he about to leave. I'm like, yo, Yellow Beasley. You know, I said, yo, Beasley, let me holler at you. You know, so once I start talking, I think some girls came over. He like, yo, hold that thought. So that's when my nigga Ching said, yo, my nigga, hold what thought, nigga? He like, hold what fucking thought? What the fuck you talking about? So that's when Ching started getting hyped. So my nigga Ching like, yo, he was like, if we was locked up right now, it'd be a problem. He was like, hold what thought? What the fuck you talking about? So now, you know, Ching and Yellow, you know, they arguing. So I'm trying to calm, you know, Ching down. Then Yellow start, you know, getting loud. So then I'm, you know, starting getting loud. I'm like, yo, my nigga, I'm just trying to, you know, holler at you for a second. Then Yellow was like, yo, I don't, you know, no talking like, oh, I don't want to tell some shit. So, you know, people get in between us. You know, nigga Dirty Ray, who's from Oak Cliff, was like, yo, he was like, yo, he was like, just let it go, whatever. So they separate us. So that's when Dirty Ray was like, yo, he was like, just holler at Trap Boy when he come home. He was like, Trap Boy, you know, is the gangster. He was like, Yellow just a rapper, don't, you know. So we leave and shit. Cool. So, you know, we still doing our thing out in Oak Cliff getting money. You know what I mean? We dropping bags off to Farrago and shit, you know what I mean? Me and my niggas, you know, we turning the profit out there, right? Cool. So now, not long after Trap Boy Freddy comes home, you know what I mean? After being all on the news for having an illegal firearm and, you know, a tiger cub in his house and shit, boom, Trap Boy Freddy home. So, me and my nigga, you know, Ching, you know what I mean, we rolling tight. You know, Ching, my little nigga from New York, you know what I mean, wild nigga, always ready to go. So, we chillin' and shit. We pull up to this car dealership that these Mexicans own out in Oak Cliff, you know what I mean? It's like a car dealership that's owned by a bunch of Mexicans. And while they detailing your car, they be gambling in the back. You can look the footage up, you know what I mean? On this particular day, Trap Boy Freddy's in the back, you know, of this car shop, you know what I mean? You know, it's like a car shop out in Dallas. So, Trap Boy Freddy in the garage at this car shop. And it's like a pool table and they're gambling on it. Trap Boy Freddy's gambling with the Mexicans at the pool table in the back of this car shop. You know what I mean? You could look the footage up. So when I pull in and shit, you know, Mexican dude, Hector, that always work on my car, we greet each other. He said, well, it's gonna take this long, da 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 da. So he was like, you been chilling in the back. He was like, hey, everybody in the back gambling, you know what I mean? So when I get back there, I see the nigga Trap Boy there. I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, yo, let me holler at this nigga. So we back there, you know what I mean? So if they're gambling, so I jump in. So I start, boom, getting them, cracking the head with the dice. You know what I mean? We putting money up beside bets and all. So I'm like, yo, I'm good. So I start stacking my money up. So I'm like, I'm good. So they still going. So I'm trying to holler at Trap Boy. I'm like, yo, let me holler at you. So so we talking and shit, but he's still rolling the dice at the same time. So we holding a conversation. Then he said something about, yo, man. He was like, yeah, I hear y'all. Got New York boys is out here, you know what I mean, getting money. He was like, you might want to be careful, you know what I mean. He was like, Oak Cliff, you know what I mean. It's a dangerous place, might not be safe for for you city slickers, you know what I mean. Like saying slick shit, you know what I mean. But he was like, but it's all good. And then he said something to the effect about New York and some shit about Charleston White. So he made a joke about when Charleston White was like, fuck Biggie, fuck the Knicks and all this shit. And then, he's laughing at shit. But basically, you know what I mean, just talking a little slick shit. And then that's when I laughed. I'm like, yeah. So then that's when I turned my Yankee hat forward. I'm like, no doubt, my nigga. I was like, I see you around, though. He laughed. With the Mexicans, he's still rolling dice. So Ching was like, yo, does he give the word, nigga? I put that motherfucking shit on the pool table. I'm like, nah. I was like, since he brought up the Yankees, he's like, we gonna take them niggas to the ball game. Ching like, huh? So then that's when I pulled my Yankee cap all the way down, and I winked. You like, oh, okay. So boom. So probably like a day or two after that, you know what I mean? Trap Boy, he had some young niggas, they used to hustle for him and shit. I don't know, Cliff or whatever. So, I got like 8 niggas with me, you know what I mean? But then I had 2 niggas on the side, you know what I mean? With guns and shit, so, we hop out, you know what I mean? Niggas hop out with baseball bats on my niggas to start beating niggas on the corner. Beat niggas on the corner with bats, beat niggas with corners. So I had my other 2 niggas holding like AKs and shit, making sure nobody go get guns out the stash, holding niggas. So you got 2 niggas holding niggas at gunpoint while the other niggas is beating niggas down with baseball bats, beating them, hitting them in their arms, legs, just beating them down. Niggas is begging niggas to stop, just beating them down with bats. So as soon as they stop beating niggas, everybody just laying there all fucked up. You know what I mean? They aching from the pain, you know what I mean? I hop out with a gun in my hand. I'm whistling this song, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I'm just whistling that shit with a gun in my hand. It was this little nigga named Dion, that Trap Boy Freddy, was real cool with. So I go to Dion, I put my arm around him, like, what's up, youngin'? I was like, yo, tell your man Trap Boy that me and my niggas ain't going nowhere, you know what I mean? We here to stay, you know what I mean? We here to get money. Now I told him I tried to be cool with him and his nigga Yellow, but since they wanna, get on some gangster shit, we on some gangster shit. And then that's when I patted, Lil D on the back. I said, let him know that let's go. So that's when me and my niggas get in the cars. We get in the 3 cars, we take off, you know what I mean? Boom. So, I'm assuming Lil Dion, relayed the message to the nigga, Trap Boy, about, what we did, how we beat his niggas down with bats and shit, you know what I mean? Cool. So, one day, we chillin' and shit, you know what I mean? We at Farrago spot, Farrago had a little party at his club, Nigga Slap Joe out there, you know what I mean? Slap Joe, not only does security, for the nigga, Farrago, he does security in like all the, clubs in Dallas. So we chillin' and shit, you know what I mean? The club let out, you know what I mean? Everybody out there chilling and shit, you know what I mean? I'm talking with my nigga Slap Joe. You know what I mean? We chilling, talking. Next thing you know, I see a car pulling up, you know what I mean? It pulled up. Then it like stepped on the gas, and then that's when Slap Joe pushed me out the way and hit Slap Joe. Boom, hit Slap Joe. You know, the car hit him, boom. They kept driving like, what the So the nigga Slap Joe, he just laying there, you know what I mean, with blood coming out his nose. I'm thinking he dead. I'm like, fuck. So everybody looking like, yo, what the fuck, yo? Because, you know, the way the nigga did it, he slowed down. Then he just sped up. But that's when Slap Joe pushed me out the way and the car hit him. Boom. So Slap Joe, he's out. He just laying there, blood coming out his nose. So everybody's like, what the fuck? Call 911, call 911. So I'm looking at Slap Joe just lay there lifeless. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, oh shit. So my mind's racing. Next thing you know, this nigga Slap Joe eyes open. He stood up. He's staggering people trying to get him to sit down. He pushing people off like, get off me. Get off me. They trying to calm him down. So I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, yo, Slap Joe. I'm like, relax. So he's still pushing. He trying to push people off. So finally the ambulance come. They get Slap Joe to sit down. They take Slap Joe to the hospital. You know what I mean? He survived this shit. He just banged up from the car, you know what I mean? You know, his leg, you know what I mean, it's fractured. He got bruises on his body, but he good. So now we trying to figure out, like, who the fuck did that? So I'm like, yo, it had to be Trap Boy in him, because But, cause the car did try to get me, but, nigga, fucking Slap Joe pushes me out the way. So I'm like, cool, so now it's on, right? So, I'm ready to go to all-out war with these niggas, but Faraga like, yo, he said until you could prove that they had something to do with Slap Joe getting hit by that car, you know, he's like, don't push the green light. But I'm like, yo, man, it has to be because, what we did with his peoples. And he was like, still, so we fall back. So we still getting money out there. Now, around this time, my favorite rapper Pusha T, his brother Malice, the Clips or whatever, they was coming to Dallas. They was gonna be performing at the Bomb Factory. Cool, so they're gonna be performing at the Bomb Factory and shit, right? So, I knew a girl that worked at the Bomb Factory in Dallas, so she got me tickets, you know what I mean? Backstage passes, all that, you know what I mean? So I could not only meet the Clips, but I could, also, kick it backstage, you know what I mean? And, meet my, favorite rapper, Pusha T and shit. So the Bomb Factory's gonna be popping. But the whole time is rumors going around that, Yella Beasley is under investigation for the Mo 3 murder, but nothing has been confirmed. It's just rumors, right? Cool. So, we go out, so me, my nigga Ching, you know what I mean, and 4 of my other niggas, you know what I mean, we go out to the Bomb Factory, you know what I mean, Bomb Factory in Dallas to go see, the Clips perform, you know what I mean, Pusha T and his brother Malice. Now, I didn't know that Trap Boy Freddy and Yella Beasley was opening for the Clips, so we in the Bomb Factory. So, shit is going right, then Trap Boy Freddy and Yella Beasley, they on stage performing. The crowd is kind of mixed. You got some of the crowd that's not vibing. You got some of the crowd that's vibing. But I noticed on one side of the stage in the front, it was like maybe 20 niggas with red on. And they like heckling Yella Beasley while he rapping. They heckling, talking shit. So as Yella Beasley rapping, the niggas, they got on red, and nigga Trap Boy Freddy took a bottle of water and started like throwing water towards where the group of niggas was in the front seat. So that's when the niggas in the red started throwing water bottles on the stage. Now I later find out these were Mo 3 people. So Yella Beasley, you know what I mean, they stopped the music. They talking shit like, yo, what's the problem that a little lie? So that's when, Trap Boy again, you know what I mean, he said something. That's when they throw more water bottles. It got crazy to the point Yella Beasley and Trap had to leave the stage, you know what I mean? And they escorted more 3 peoples out, you know what I mean? So now the music done cut off. People are getting reckless, and it's like, damn, niggas done fucked up the show. The clips ain't even come out yet. So they trying to get more 3 peoples out of there, you know. These niggas all had on red bandanas, red shirts, so they trying to get them out of there. They already took Trap Boy Freddy and Yella Beasley off the stage, you know what I mean? You know, me and my peoples, we up, like on the second tier watching, you know what I mean, from a distance. So the crowd's getting reckless, and now there's no music playing. Next thing you know, the Clip song, Chains and Whips, drop. That's where the people start going crazy. Pusha T comes out, start rapping. Everybody rapping Pusha T verse, even me, you know what I mean? Because Pusha T is my favorite rapper, boom, boom, boom. So, the Clips, did they thing. They did their show, so boom. So now we get backstage and shit. So we can go chop it up with Pusha T, Malice, and meet him and shit. So as we walking through backstage in the hall, I'm walking, you know what I mean? I got my niggas with me. Trap Boy and Yella got his people with him. We about to walk past each other. The nigga looked like he was gonna bump my nigga Ching. My nigga Ching said, niggas trying to bump into me, son, and, push the nigga. So now, niggas, it's like a shoving match, but the security's there, because the security was already walking with Yella Beasley and Trap, to make sure, that they cool. So they getting in between it, so we kind of like arguing and shit. That's when the nigga Yella Beasley, he yells out, "Don't worry, I got something in the car for you niggas." So that's when I yelled back. I was like, "Nigga, we got something in the car too, nigga. Fuck you talking about?" So we trying to get to each other with security in between us. So they made Trap Boy and Yella go that way. They made us go the other way. So as we walk in, Pusha T and Malice just standing there watching like, what the fuck? So I'm like, Pusha, what up, nigga? You know what I mean? Malice, and I did the army salute. Pusha T, he just nodded his head like, aye, you know what I mean? I ain't even get the chance to, either take a picture with my favorite rapper, Pusha T. I'm like, fuck. So I'm pissed. So cool. You know what I mean? So now, it's probably like a day or two after that, you know what I mean? We chillin' and shit. We at the mall and shit. You know what I mean? Probably 2 days later after that confrontation, we at the mall and shit. Still getting money out of no Cliff and shit, you know what I mean? Even though all this shit is happening between us and Yella and Trap, right? So me, my nigga Ching, and Platinum, I'm another one of my niggas, my nigga Slice Moolah. We out in the mall and shit, you know what I mean? We shopping and shit. So I stepped away to go to a certain store. Platinum, you know what I mean? My nigga Ching and my nigga Slice, they chillin' or whatever. So I guess my nigga, Ching must have peeped the little nigga Dion, which is Trap Boy, Freddy's little homeboy. Walking through the mall, he spotted, little Dion going in the bathroom, but he ain't say nothing to Platinum. And Slice Moolah, he just said, yo, I'll be right back. So they think that he going to the bathroom. This nigga goes, my nigga Ching goes in the bathroom, sticks the little nigga Dion up, take the chain from him. And then, he comes back like nothing ever happened. He comes back, so then we meet back up in the mall after I did what I had to do. So me, Platinum, and Ching, me, Platinum, Ching, and my other nigga Slice, we get in the car. We driving, the nigga, Slice was like, yo, I got that little nigga Dion. I'm like, what you mean? He pulled the chain. I'm like, oh shit, and I recognize the chain. Cause that's one of Trap Boy Freddy's saying. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, what the fuck? He was like, yeah, caught that nigga in the bathroom. So I look at Platinum, I'm like, Platinum was like, he ain't know, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh shit. So now he got this little nigga chain and shit. And, as soon as we left, I guess, little nigga Dion must have let Trap Boy and know that he got robbed. Cause they came up to the mall, but we already gone. So I get a phone call and shit from a private number. You know what I mean? It said private on my phone, but I answered it anyway. It's a nigga Trap Boy. He was like, yo, I'm gonna need that back, man. I need that chain back. Cause Trap Boy, I guess he knew that it wouldn't be a good look if the nigga Ching is running around with this nigga chain and shit. And I mean, a New York nigga running around with his chain. He was like, that ain't a good look. So he like, yo, I'm gonna need that back. So I'm like, So we talking, trying to negotiate how to get the chain back to him. Cause I didn't even know that this nigga Ching was gonna rob this little nigga, you know what I mean? Ching is wild, you know what I mean? Ching don't give a fuck about shit. So we talking, negotiating where we gonna meet up and shit. So, so that way Trap Boy Freddy could get the chain back. So we agreed to meet at a neutral spot. So, so it's Trap Boy's there, I'm there, the little nigga Dion's there, my nigga Ching there, so, and there's other, people with Trap Boy and there's other people with us. Of course, everybody's gripped up, so we talking. I'm telling Trap Boy, all this could have been avoided. You know what I mean? We came with love, it was never eyes tent. You know what I mean? To come, hostile or whatever towards y'all, you know what I mean? The Trap Boy, he's listening, but he's like, nah, you know what I mean? We from here, we from, Texas, y'all niggas from New York, you know what I mean? How would y'all feel if we came up to y'all city? And I'm like, you're right. So, we talking. So, I hand the chain over to Trap Boy. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking it's done. Right when I'm about to turn and walk, the little nigga Dion starts talking shit to Ching. So Ching like, what? So they talking shit to each other, arguing. So I'm just standing there. Next thing you know, the nigga, little Dion, had his hands in his coat pocket. He just had his hands in his coat pocket. This nigga fires a shot with his hand in his coat pocket. Boom, boom, just starts firing shots with his hand in his coat pocket. I'm like, oh shit, I never seen no shit like that before. Boom, boom, Ching gets hit, in the arm. Boom, boom, I'm like, oh fuck. So that's when my nigga Slice Moolah will up start firing. Boom, boom, boom. So now they start firing at us. Boom, boom, boom. So I pull my shit and I fire 2 shots. Don't. One shot hit Freddy. Boom. That's how Freddy got shot. So Freddy like, fuck. So Freddy, he gets shot. So now niggas is all out melee. Everybody just firing shots. You know what I mean? When the smoke clear, the niggas, they get in their cars, get out of there, cause Trap Boy hit. Ching is hit, so I grab Ching. I pull Ching. I'm like, we gotta rush Ching to the hospital and shit, cause he's shot. Like, fuck. So the nigga Ching, he's hit in the arm. So we rush him to the hospital. So we get Ching to the hospital. He good. So, so Ching only got shot in the arm. Lucky, you know what I mean? So Ching gets hit in the arm. Trap Boy Freddy gets shot. So, causing an investigation. But, nobody's talking. This nigga Trap Boy later posts himself from a hospital bed with a microphone next to it, which was some gangster shit. I gotta keep it real. That shit was gangster. So I'm like, alright, cool. So now there's rumors that Trap Boy got a hit out on me, Ching, you know what I mean, and any nigga from New York. So we like, fuck. So, but in the meantime, the nigga Ching is flirting with this nurse that work at the hospital. You know what I mean? Cute face, fat ass and shit. You know how, when they be wearing the motherfucking scrubs, that ass, this bitch had a fat ass, you know what I mean? Had a body like the prom time Trina. Remember how Trina looked back in the day? Ass like that. Cute face with that, with that southern twang, you know what I mean? So Ching bags her. Now he's fucking the nurse and shit. Spending a lot of time with this nurse. And he's going out and about. And people's telling me like, yo, I see your man Ching running around with this chick, you know what I mean? Just him and this chick. You know what I mean? And he was like, niggas is like, yo, that look kinda cocky, you know what I mean? He was like, niggas in Dallas might take offense to that, cause not only rumor is that Yella and Trap Boy got bounties on all y'all New York niggas' heads, but your man, Ching, is running around here with just this chick. And Dallas, you know what I mean, with his arm in a sling that look kinda cocky, niggas might take that the wrong way. And I agree, like, you know what I mean? And I told Ching, yo, to lay low, cause they got money on our heads, we got money on their heads. It's basically an all-out war. So Ching, Ching gon' do what he want, he don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So, one day, nigga Dirty Red, like, yo, that they had like some little carnival shit. You know how every city during the summer or the spring have a little carnival. So him and this nurse chick, You know, my nigga Ching is out and about with this nurse chick at a carnival. You know what I mean? You know, he got his arm in a sling and shit. And he just walking around with this nurse chick, fat ass and shit. Big fat ass. So somebody that was down there, Dirty Red was out there, Dirty Red from Oak Cliff, you like, yo, tell me why your man Ching is out here with this nurse chick just walking around like it's all good with his arm in a sling. You know what I mean? He said he seen when they pulled up, you know what I mean? The chick got a little BMW, top down. He said, so your man is riding around with this chick with the top down in Dallas, knowing they got money on his head. He was like, yo, that look kinda cocky, man. He was like, you might want to come down here and holler at your man. So I'm furious, so I get down there. Nigga Dirty Red was like, yo, man, your man over there. So when I walk up, you know, 'cause at this point, him and the chick is sitting down eating hot dogs and shit. So I go up to Ching, I'm like, yo, what up? So he like, yo, what up, y'all? And I'm like, what's good with you? He was like, nothing, it's all good. And I was like, it can't be all good, 'cause nigga, I'm out here, what's up? So now Ching see my face is serious. And the nurse chick just sitting there, I'm like, come here, let me talk to you. So that's when Ching get up and I pull him to the side. I'm like, yo, my nigga, are you crazy? I was like, you know this nigga Trap Boy and Yella got money on your head, my head. I was like, why the fuck are you walking around with this chick all out and about, riding around with the top down? I was like, don't you know these grimy ass, country ass niggas will tear your shit to the white meat? The fuck are you doing? And he was like, nah, man, you know, he was like, these niggas pussy out here. He was like, it's all good. And then he pulled up his shirt to show he was strapped. I was like, nigga, that don't mean shit, nigga. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So, Ching, you know, he was my nigga, but the little nigga was hard-headed, even though he ain't fierce shit. You know what I mean? So we kind of arguing. I'm like, my nigga, I'm trying to talk to you. He's like, nah, fuck that. He was like, ain't nobody gonna make me hot, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them niggas. He was like, fuck these country-ass niggas. So I'm like, I just shook my head. I'm like, all right, my nigga. So, you know, I tried to talk to him, but it was no talking to Ching, you know, even though that's my nigga, I love him. I'm like, whatever, so I leaves. So I guess later on that night, you know what I mean, the nigga Ching is chilling, you know, with the nurse chick. They parked up somewhere, you know, looking at the stars and shit. You know, this nigga Keon or whatever, the same nigga that ran up on Mo 3, you know, he'd been following them the whole day. This was unbeknownst to me. I found this out later on. The nigga Keon or whatever, the same nigga that chased Mo 3 down, you know, was plotting on the nurse chick and Ching the whole night. He's following them. Now, the nigga Keon already don't like women, 'cause he likes lady boys. He date, you know, trans women, so he don't give a fuck about no chick. And, you know, he already got paid, you know, to get at motherfucking Ching, so he's been watching them all day. So he sees them park up. So the nigga, you know, Keon's parked to the side. He's watching Ching and the nurse chick, you know what I mean, park up, you know, 'cause, you know, I guess the chick wanted to watch the stars or some shit, you know what I mean. So they parked up by the pier or whatever. The nigga hops out. Same way he hopped out with Mo 3, ski mask on, tight ass jeans. He hops out. But instead of a machine gun, he got a handgun. He runs up. He starts dumping. Do, dumping. Hit up Ching, 'cause he ran up on the passenger side. He hit Ching up. Boom, Ching couldn't get. Ching tried to get to his gun, couldn't get to it. He hit Ching up. The chick starts screaming. He hit the chick up. Boom. So he gets out of there. Nigga takes off. So later that night, I get a phone call. It's saying, yo, Ching been shot. I'm like, what? Ching been shot. So we rush to the hospital. You know what I mean? They told us, you know, unfortunately, you know, Ching ain't make it. He passed away. So damn, that shit broke my heart. Now at first I'm thinking this chick set him up. So I'm like, yo, so I wanted to see this, you know, the girl. So I went to go see the girl, the nurse chick. And I thought she set him up, but, you know, once I seen she had a bandage on her face because she got shot in the face. And then that's when she told me, you know, the nigga, you know, ran up on him and started just firing shots, you know what I mean, firing shots, and she caught one to the face. And I'm like, damn. So of course, you know, I had to let, you know, the hood back at home know that, you know, Ching died and shit. That was painful, so now we got a set up for Ching's funeral. Ching done got himself killed, so now, me and my niggas, we fly back to New York and shit. So, while we out in New York, for the funeral and shit, I go to the wake, you know what I mean? His mother's, sitting in the front row crying. His sister, his older brother. So, I go see Ching, and then, I kiss him on the forehead, let him know I love him, and let him know I'm sorry, you know what I mean? So when I went to go, give my condolences to his mom stood up and just slapped me. Boom, his mom slapped me. It was like, she was like, you the reason why my boy dead. She was like, get out, get out, get out, yelling to get out. So that's when his older brother stood up and just put his arm around me, just walked me out. And then he was like, yo. And that's when his brother said, yo, man. He was like, I understand my mother's emotions, but, she gotta understand that, not only my brother was his own man, but he was a grown man. He chose that life, live by the gun, die by the gun. So he said, I totally understand. But he said, the only thing I ask you, Tony, is make sure you get the niggas that did this to my brother. So that's when I said, I got you. So that's when, his brother shook my hand, hugged me. And then, I left, and then, Ching brother went back inside the church. So now I got vengeance in my eyes, and in my heart to get at these niggas, you know what I mean? So as, me and my niggas, we flying back to Dallas, I get a text saying that they found the little nigga Dion dead in a trap house, you know what I mean? Total coincidence, you know what I mean? We had nothing to do with it, but they found the little nigga Dion dead in the trap house with his trap boy Freddie, homie. So, cause they though we did it, but, you know what I mean? We ain't had nothing to do with it. It's just coincidence. So, now, it's really on, you know what I mean? We done lost people on both sides, but now I done made a promise to Ching brother to get back at these niggas, you know what I mean? So now, I got a price on Yella and Trap Boy's head now, you know what I mean? And they got money on mine, so now we laying low. You know what I mean? Still getting money, but we laying low. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out how to get at these niggas. And now these niggas is not only laying low because we on their ass, but it's rumors that, the feds gonna be closing in on Yella about this Mo3 situation. So we chilling. I get a call, from Duke Farrell, which I was surprised, to see his name pop up on my phone. I'm like, yo. So he said, hey, cuz. He was like, no beef, no beef. Cause, me and Duke ain't been cool, in a minute. So the nigga Duke fell like, yo. He said, I need to meet up with you, cuz. I gotta talk to you about something. So I'm like, alright. So we agreed to meet up. Downtown Dallas and Clyde Park. So, I pull up, Platinum with me, gripped up, I got my, New York niggas off to the side, incognito, so it just looked like it's just me and Platinum there, but I got other niggas there. We all gripped up. The nigga Duke pull up, with this chick Bella. This is when Duke was messing with the chick Bella. Then the first thing that caught my attention was, how she, it looked like she had a bunch of injections in her lips and in her face. It looked like she had Botox and lip filler. That kind of caught my attention. I was kind of taken back, but I'm like, alright, I guess, you like it, I love it, whatever. So he sits down. So we sitting on the bench next to the big ass Connect 4 thing. He's like, hey, cuz, I wanted to come out here and chop it up with you. I ain't want to talk on the phone, obviously. But he said, yeah, I heard you been beefing with Yellow Belly and Trap Girl Freddie. I'm like, yeah. He was like, well, he pulls out his phone, and he's like, here's a way you can get the drop on Yella, you know what I mean? Because, I heard they not only got money on your head, I heard you got money on their head, but he was like, there's a way you can get at them niggas, you know what I mean? Because I know them niggas been laying low not only because of the beef, but because of the investigation, from the feds or whatever. So he slides me his phone, and when I look, it's a flyer with Yella Beezy on it, you know what I mean, saying he gonna be at a club at a certain time. So I'm like, what's this? He was like, that's where Yella gonna be at. He was like, that's how, you can get the drop on him, you know what I mean? He gonna be at that club at a certain time. He's like, all you gotta do is just lay low and just wait for the right opportunity to get at the nigga. And I never thought of that, and even though Duke is a little retarded at the same time, the nigga's a genius, and I'm like, that's a good idea. Well, why didn't I think of that? Look at the nigga, because with any rapper, you know what I mean? If any rapper do anything, all you gotta do is just go to the Instagram, and they gonna post where they gonna be at. I'm like, damn, why didn't I think of that? And I'm like, you're right. So that's when, he took a screenshot of it, sent me to, the picture. So now I got the address of the club where Yella gonna be at a particular time. So I'm like, cool. So that's when, so we like, all right, cool. So that's when Duke and the girl leave. Me and my niggas, we leave. So now we start plotting, following, Yella's Instagram and shit from dummy accounts. To see, to get at this nigga Yella. So cool. So it's the night of, Yella's gonna be performing at a club and shit. So of course we can't get at him in front of the club. There's too many witnesses. So boom, so we staking out the club, you know what I mean? Yella's in there performing. So boom, so now we following Yella. He dropping people off one by one. He dropping people off one by one. Whole time Yella don't know we following him. He dropping people off one by one, so boom. So now he by himself. He's on the highway, we following him. I got a Mac 10. My nigga Slice Moolah, who's also from New York, he got a fucking Tech 9. So, I told Flame, I'm like, yo, because Flame's driving. So I'm like, yo, Flame, pull up to this little, pull up. So then, Flame starts speeding up. Roll the windows down. That's when I put my arm out, I start letting off. Pop, 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 pop. My nigga in the back, seat. He letting off out the window too. Boo boo. We fired like 35 shots at this nigga Yella. Boom, 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 boom. So then that's when the nigga Yella car starts drifting to the side. And then off the road. And then boom, I'm looking through the rear view. I'm looking through the side view mirror. Flame looking at the rear view mirror. My nigga looking back. We see the car drift to the side and then crash. So we like, boom, we like got that motherfucker. So now, kind of like laugh at the syllable. We like, yeah, got that fucking bitch ass nigga. So boom. So now we get up out of this shit. Boom, boom, boom. So I pass the gun to my little nigga in the back. Flame dropped me off. I'm like, yo, get rid of those. So Flame like, cool. So they take off. So Flame and my nigga Slice Moolah from New York, they go get rid of the guns. So now I'm laying low in the condo and shit. So I'm feeling good, cause, I done got Yella back, so I'm like, good, we got him back. So I go to sleep. Next thing you know, my phone ringing. It's Flame. I'm like, yo. He's like, yo, man, come open the door. He downstairs. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I open the door. Of course, Flame, comes in. He was like, yo, that nigga Yella ain't dead. I'm like, fuck you mean? He was like, the nigga ain't dead. So that's when the nigga Flame walks to my living room, takes the remote off my table, put the news on, and boom, it pops up. Dallas rapper Yella Beasley wounded in tollway shooting. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And so I'm like, damn, I done hit this nigga with everything. How the fuck? I'm like, damn, I can't believe the luck of this bitch ass nigga. So boom, at that point, I get a text from Farrago, and Flame gets a text from Farrago. And I'm like, yo, you got the, and then that's when he was like, yeah, I got the text too. So I'm like, fuck. So I know, Farrago will want to talk about this. So boom, I get dressed, me, Flame, you know what I mean? And a few other niggas, we go down to the club to where Farrago at. We have a meeting in his office. He's like, yo, I'm pulling young niggas out of Oak Cliff. I'm like, now I don't want to get out because not only we getting money, but shit, I'm in the middle of a war. I ain't retreating. He was like, look, he said, I send y'all niggas out there to get money, but clearly this shit is turning into some other shit, and this shit ain't good for, this shit is bad for business. So he's like, yo, I'm taking y'all niggas out of Oak Cliff. No negotiations, non-negotiable. It's done. So I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean? And it's a good thing that, that Farrago pulled us out, cause probably about a month later, this nigga Yella Beasley gets indicted, on murder for hire charges for Mode 3, you know what I mean? The only thing is I'm just mad I ain't get to kill this motherfucker, like I promised Ching's brother, you know what I mean? But once the feds was involved and, you know what I mean, they indicted him, once they indicted Yella on them charges for the Mode 3 murder, and then, the feds started investigating me and, you know what I mean? Shit just got turned upside down, so, it is what it is, you know what I mean, with that situation, but, that's how the game goes, you know what I mean? It's like what Ching brother said, the day of, Ching's wake was, live by the gun, you die by the gun, and that statement still rings true to this day. Nah, man, but it's all good. Rest in peace to my nigga Ching.